Today in Cannabis News, after a city council vote, most Kansas City, Missouri government employees will cease to be subjected to pre-employment cannabis screenings. As legislators push for reforms, financial institutions increasingly claim to be engaging with cannabis firms, according to a U.S. federal analysis. And this week, a U.S. House panel will vote on a federal cannabis policy proposal only days following cannabis financial reform advancement. It's Tuesday, September 28th, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, according to recent legislation passed by the City Council in Kansas City, Missouri, the majority of government employees will cease to be subjected to pre-employment drug screenings for cannabis. Mayor Quinton Lucas presented the bill in July, and it was approved by municipal legislators by a vote of 11-2. Mayor Lucas sponsored a bill last year that has already become law that eliminates all city criminal sanctions for possession of cannabis. There are a few caveats to the new rules. Law enforcement officers, those who need a commercial driver's license, and those who supervise children, medical patients, disabled, or other vulnerable individuals can be subject to cannabis tests. Opportunities should not be foreclosed unnecessarily. Glad to see passage of our law eliminating pre-employment screening for marijuana at Kansas City government for most positions, Lucas said, one step of many in becoming a fairer city.
Next up, as per recent U.S. federal statistics, the amount of financial institutions disclosing that they engage with cannabis firms increased last quarter. The amount of financial institutions reporting having cannabis clients dropped significantly and consistently last year, but this year the numbers have begun to normalize. Since June 30th, 706 financial firms had completed the necessary forms indicating that they were currently servicing cannabis businesses. This is up from 689 in the previous quarter, though still lower than the late 2019 high of 747 firms. The latest data from the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network comes as Congress considers legislation to safeguard financial institutions that engage with cannabis businesses from intervention from federal authorities. Although FinCEN guidelines from 2014 were established to assist banking and credit union firms in navigating the sector, policymakers seek to adopt specific legislative safeguards. That could be achieved either by independent legislation enacted by the House or with an amendment tacked to a defense budget package last week.
Last up, the U.S. House Judiciary Committee confirmed recently that a proposal on federal cannabis policy reform is set to be voted upon this week. The news comes just a day following the House approving a defense budget package that includes an amendment protecting banking institutions that provide operations to state-licensed cannabis companies for intervention from federal authorities. The Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement, or the MORE Act, introduced by Judiciary Committee Chairman Gerald Nadler on Wednesday, will be marked up and discussed. As per a statement, the committee will review numerous legislative proposals at the hearing. According to Representative Nadler, the measure would decriminalize marijuana federally and invest in communities that have been disproportionately harmed by the war on drugs. The bill would exclude cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act, permit those who have been convicted of cannabis offenses to have their criminal histories wiped, and impose a federal taxation on cannabis, with proceeds going towards community revitalization and additional initiatives. It also includes wording that would allow people jailed for cannabis crimes to be resentenced, safeguard immigrants from being refused citizenship because of cannabis consumption, and ban government authorities from refusing public benefits or security clearance because of cannabis consumption.
That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Tech and Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversation wherever you get your podcasts. For trichomes.com, I'm Devin Leal.
And I'm RJ Balde, signing off.